Good morning, Internet. Happy Saturday to everybody. So, welcome. We're back in the beautiful new live Chromeworks studio and ready to do a Flappy Bird game. I'm really excited about this one. Flappy Bird's not a too hard game to code, but it's super fun. I'm sure you've all played Flappy Bird at some point. It's the original Rage game, right? It's just so frustrating to play because it's just hard, and every time that you start it over again, you end up going right back to the beginning again, and so it's just over and over again, just getting two or three pipes and then going, ah! I know I can do it better next time. Spending hours and hours doing. I remember the original, the developer of the game. I believe he's Asian. I can't remember exactly where he comes from. He was a little bit embarrassed by the game. He didn't really think it should get the kind of huge fame that it got. He was making like $50,000 a day off of this game. Um, he felt bad about it. He finally pulled it off the market, but all that did was create a whole bunch of imitators that ended up making their own games. And now there's a million Flappy Bird type games out there, and we're going to add to that pile today by making our own. So let's see who's online today. We got all kinds of old friends here with us today. Deck, haven't seen him for a while. Deck's back. Welcome, Deck. And who else is in our list here? Priyan. Oh my God, I haven't seen Priyan in a long time. He got really busy with schoolwork, but he's back. Priyan, for a long time, was a really good contributor. Uh, he remixed almost every file and was working on stuff like crazy. So it's really great to have him back. Chris Copeman's back again today. Hey, Chris, nice to see you again. And Kian is back with us today as well. He has a little link to share with us in a couple of minutes, but let's wait to get to that. And over in Discord, just gonna pop over and have a look. Yeah, Chris is and Kian are both waiting for me in Discord. And our two new users who I introduced to you last week, Thane and Balin, are both here today. I'm going to be showing you some of their projects in a little bit at the first break as well. They've been very active users since they started a little while ago. But I know you guys are eager to get to the coding. So last week was way too long. The lesson clocked in at like 3 hours, which is crazy. And I know I lost a lot of you guys before it was over. So I'm going to try harder in the future to make sure that we get projects that are a little bit smaller in scope that we can manage to get done in the time that we have available. I'm still working this out and trying to figure out exactly what the best format is for this Saturday show. And next week we'll have Jeffrey with us as well, I hope, and he might be doing some of the coding with us as well. So things are still in flux, guys. I'm still toying around with different models for what to do during the daytime, during the week as well. You know, I used to be live streaming with you guys every day during the week. I'm trying to get some income since I'm stuck at home and I'm out of work. So I've been trying to do virtual computer camps via the Glebe Community Center, and I'm still doing that right now. Hasn't been great, and mostly because of you guys who are my big fans. I've already done all the work that I'm teaching. I thought I would get some new people going via these camps, but it's not working. What I'm really realizing is I need to give you guys something value added that you can learn with me during the week. And so that's why I'm in the final stages of figuring out some kind of a new virtual camp that I'm going to be starting in August. And it's going to be a live coding camp. Meaning we're going to be spending about 2 hours a day, and we're not going to have any game plan at the beginning. We're just going to talk about what we want to build, and we're going to build something together as a group. So it's going to be on Zoom, and I'm going to be basically selling tickets for it, and that'll be how I'll be trying to raise income during the week. So basically 2 hours a day of coding with Mr. T for the course of a week is what I'm talking about here. And we're just going to be building games together and experimenting with stuff. And you'll be giving me your ideas, I'll be giving you your mine, and we'll be together putting stuff together. And that's kind of where I want to. So stay tuned. There'll be more info on that. You know, you can always look at my website, chromeworks.ca, to find any updates on what's going on. There's a button at the bottom of the page there to subscribe to my newsletter. Let me get over to my live code now and show you what I'm. All right. Yeah, so at the bottom of my screen here is something that says subscribe to our newsletter. And if you subscribe there, you will get to onto my email list, and then we'll make sure that you get any information on what's going on at Chromeworks here and what we're planning in the future. Ian says he has too many projects. Deck wants to do a Tetris game one day. I think that's not a bad idea, actually, Deck. I'm going to talk to Jeffrey about it and see what he thinks about it, because I think I want him to try and code something next week, more of a live coding kind of thing. Okay, let's get started with the coding, guys. So, you know, as I said, that we're doing Flappy Bird today. If you're ever wondering, I keep getting emails asking me what it is that you guys are, or what it is that I'm teaching this week. And if you're ever interested, at least a couple of days before every broadcast, I'm going to have a little screen up here at chromeworks.ca, and then click on the live stream link. And you'll see a little link here to a preview of what we're going to be covering this week. If you're ever curious, you can always look at that. And also check out my YouTube channel, which you can get to from here. And that will show you what we're up to today as well. Okay, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to be showing some remixes and some other projects during the first break, but I'd like to get going with this project here. So let's get moving. A little intro. I don't know if I'm editing these broadcasts down right now. You know what? I don't think I'm going to do it for the next while. I'm just kind of playing around with the format. Let's just get right into the coding here, guys. So I've pasted a working file into the queue here, into the YouTube chat here, and I will also paste it into Ask Miss section right here in Discord. Between those two, we should be able to get everyone into this. So remember, the working file is the actual file that I am working on right now as we do this live. And so the idea, and I know you guys have all heard this speech before, but the idea is I don't want you to be so worried about getting all the blocks down on the page. If you fall behind, simply click on the link and reload my version of the file. I'll save it every once in a while, and then you can get caught up with what we're doing here. So it's not necessary that you build everything live with me right here. It's more important that you watch and listen and understand the coding concepts that I'm getting across to you. Okay, so let's get going here. We all know how Flappy Bird is played. I've got a bunch of graphics here to get started with. I've got my Flappy Bird. He's got 3 different costumes to get him flapping around. They just are different ways that his wings are moving, and that's good. We've got some sound effects in here, like a flappy sound and the whack sound that he makes when he dies. Are you guys on YouTube hearing these game sounds, by the way? I just want to make sure that the audio is working properly. If someone can let me know in the chat, that would be great. We've got the pipes. We've just got one generic pipe here, and we're going to be cloning it and having it move across the screen. There's another one at the bottom that's facing the other direction. And we're just going to be moving it up and down to simulate this maze full of pipes that we have to fly through. We've got a little bit of text, and then we've got our ground, which is going to be scrolling. This is a scrolling shooter, of course, so we're going to be using some of our ground scrolling stuff. And I have a red screen here. That's just going to appear and disappear when we die. It's just going to, so that the screen flashes bright red when we die, just for a little fraction of a second. Okay. Or Chris is saying he's hearing the audio just fine, and that's awesome. So good for you. How about you guys on Discord? Can you hear the audio? I haven't done this for a while, and I just want to make sure everything's working properly. So can you? Okay, so Kian, you can? Can you hear the audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Okay, good.
I can't hear from my end.
You can't hear the YouTube audio, right? Or the game audio, right?
The
No,
game audio, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think we're going to be able to fix that for now. I could try, yeah, I'm going to play around with it a little bit, but I think for today we're just going to go. And it's not really critical. Okay, so let's get started coding, guys. So let's go over to Flappy. We're going to start coding him first. So first thing we're going to do is just get him cycling. Well, actually, so most of the action in this game happens when an event is received called start game. There's just a at the beginning we're going to be doing a little screen that that says get ready, and then it's going to flip over to the game screens, and that's going to happen with a start game event. So let's just go to the green flag. Let's make a green flag right now. This is going to be temporary because the game start event is going to be happening later on. Let me show you guys. So we're just going to broadcast something here, and later on that the game start event is going to be elsewhere in the code. So we're going to remove this, but just for now so that we can get everything moving and set up properly. We're going to go to our events here and broadcast a new event that says start game or game start. Go. All right. So now everything else is kind of keyed into this. So when I receive game start, let's start the animation going first. So we're going to grab a forever loop. Let's go down to control, grab a forever. We're just going to be switching between the animation states for this Flappy costume. So I'm going to put in a next costume. And it's going to be going way too fast, as it always does when we animate things. Yeah, those wings are flapping a little bit fast, so we're just going to put a little bit of a delay in. It'll be quite a bit less than 1 second. Usually when I do these animations, I go with about 0.2 seconds, and that works pretty smooth. Let's look here. Yeah, and that's about the speed with which we want to be flapping. So there we go, good. All right. And Salima's here. Hey, Salima. She's asking me to turn up my volume a little. It's my voice volume you're having trouble hearing, eh? Let me see if I can turn the microphone up a little bit. Tell me if that's sounding a little bit better. Okay, so we're done that part. Now let's we're just gonna get some variables set up here so that everything is running smoothly. You guys know that variables have to be initialized at the beginning of the game. If you don't tell it what the variable is, then often your game will not know what to do the next time you're going to refer to it. So let's under the green flag here. Actually, yeah, we'll put under the green flag. So let's go when green flag clicked. We're going to hide Flappy Bird because he doesn't appear during the entry screen here. Then we are going to set some variables here. So we're going to go variables. Now I've already created most of these variables for you, so you don't have to bother doing it. You guys remember though, if you do want to make a brand new variable, just click here under variable and then fill in the details. But we've already made them here in the starter file, so you don't have to bother doing that. Let's go set dead to 0. Means we're not dead. This is just our way of signaling to one of the other scripts in the game that we're dead so that we can flash the screen red and do some other stuff when we die. We're going to switch that to 1 later on, and that will tell the game that we're dead. Now we're using a variable called vertical speed here, which will determine our gravity, how we fall and rise as we flap our little wings. We're starting that at 0. We're also going to set the distance, which is basically our score. The distance is how far you manage to fly through the maze, and that we're setting that to 0. And we've got a high score variable here. So let's go set high score 0. We'll set our score to 0 as well. And so the idea is, oh no, we don't have a score. The score is a distance, of course. Sorry, I forgot about All right. Now, the two variables that are going to be showing our score, which is our distance and our high score, which is going to tell us in all the rounds that we played today, what was the farthest you got. That'll just be local to your computer. It's not going to be for everyone to see, just so that you know during this session what was the highest score that you got. Now, we want to hide those because at the beginning of the screen, we don't actually see that. I don't think we've used this before in our sessions here, but right underneath our variables, there's one here that says show variable, and there's another one that says hide variable. And that will just take these little blocks on the screen here and disappear them for a second while we get the game up. So let's go hide variable distance, and we're also going to hide high score. And you can see as soon as those are clicked, the graphics here from the top of the page, and we're ready to go here. Okay, so that's all our little initialization stuff. Now we can get to the fun part where we're actually flapping our little wings around. So let's get onto that. So when I start as a clone, or sorry, not when I receive start game is what we're gonna need. So when I receive start game or game start, let's show those variables that we just hid. Now, when we test this out right now, it's just going to appear right away, of course, because the green flag and the start game are basically happening at the same time. Later on, we're going to add an extra little bit of graphical stuff, and then you'll see that it'll be different. Okay, so let's just show those variables again. Show variable distance, show variable high score, so that while we're playing the game, we can see those variables. All right, we also want to show our Flappy because it's time for him to be visible now as well. We're going to tell him to start in the middle of the screen. So let's go set his Y variable. So we're going to motion. We're going to go set Y to a certain number. That's going to be the middle of the screen, which is the Y of 0. So let's tell him to go there. We want him to the left of the screen a little bit. So let's tell him to set his X coordinate to maybe minus 100. Looks good, probably. Show this guy and let's see where he is on the screen. Actually, try 120. That might be a little. Yeah, I think that's a proper place for him to be on the screen. Okay, there he is flapping his little wings right beside the game over sign. The game over, we're going to be coding all that stuff in a second. There's a game over and also a get ready here as well. Let's just hide it for now. I'm going to click on the little eyeball tool here. Hide it. That. Staring at it while we play our game right now. Then I'm going to go back to Flappy. Okay. So at the beginning, we just want the pipes to start appearing before we can start falling. So we're just going to put a 1 second delay in here. Okay, so Chris says it's too loud now, eh? So Salima said it wasn't loud enough, and Chris says it's too loud. So sorry, Chris, I think you're going to have to let me save my file here. So Chris, I think you're just going to have to turn your volume on your head. Whatever. I want Salima to be able to hear me, of course. All right, so let's go wait 1 second, as I said. Just time to see what's happening on the screen before we have to start flapping. Then we're going to pop a forever in there. And so the vertical speed variable is what's going to be controlling how your guy falls. If you don't do anything, if you don't touch any keys or do anything else, you're going to be falling by a certain speed because your vertical speed is going to be going down by a fraction every time we circle around this loop. And the only thing that's going to stop it is we're going to push in the other direction by changing the vertical speed with a button press. And so that's what we're going to be coding right now. So let's start by changing our vertical speed. Let's go to our variables. I'm going to go change vertical speed by minus 0.8. And that is what's going to make us fall. So changing the variable doesn't make us fall, of course, but the next block, which is change y, let's grab that one, change y by vertical speed. Now, how do we put vertical speed in there? We go back to our variables. Every time we create a new variable, it creates a little bubble here. I've told you guys about this before, but never ever type the name of a variable into this hole here. You have to put the bubble in or it won't work. And you'll see right away here that as soon as I click the flag, after 1 second, he's going to start to fall. He's falling a little bit faster every second because that speed keeps increasing. So theoretically, it should look more realistic. So it's not going to fall steadily. It's going to fall slowly and quickly towards, which is kind of the way you want things to fall. It's kind of mimics real gravity, right? Okay, now here's where we're going to put in our keyboard input that's going to stop us from falling. And so we need an if statement here to ask us if or am I pressing the space key. I'm going to be using the space key here. You can use a totally different key if you wanted to. Or you could hook this up to work with mouse input as well. You could have it flap with the left mouse click, for example. But I'm going to be doing it with the space bar today. So let's go to our sensing blocks. We're going to go if space pressed. And that's the default for that one. What are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to play a little sound here. Go to my sound. I'm going to go start sound, clap. And what we're going to do is change our vertical speed. Change vertical. Oh, that's not it. It's our variable. Variable. Change vertical speed by 5. Okay, and that's all we need to do to get Flappy's movement. Flag. Wait 1 second till we start to fall. Whoa. And you can see, whoa. So these numbers are all tweakable, by the way, right? So if you want him to fly up a little, it looks like he's flying up very, very quickly, like he's bumping into the ceiling. So let's try making that variable a little bit smaller. Let's try like 3 or something. How that flies. With these kind of things, yeah, you know what? 3 might actually work better. You want to have control over his up-down movement, but you want it to be difficult as well. So, yeah, it looks like that's keeping him pretty steady. I think that might be a pretty good number for us to be at. So, let's do that. And that's all there is for the Flappy Bird movement. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more things with Flappy here just to get everything set up properly. And then we're going to take a break. So let's put in 1 more thing. So if you watch the actual Flappy Bird game, you're going to notice that when Flappy flies up, he's actually tilting himself upwards a little bit. When he flies down or starts to fall, he tilts himself that way. So rather than keeping him staring to the right, let's give him a little bit of tilt every time he moves. So we're going to do that in a separate stream of the program. So Kian's asking, are we going to set up a timer for him to flap? And no, you don't need a timer for that, because the thing that's going to stop you from flapping too fast is the fact that you're going to go out of control and flap too fast, right? So you can't really hold the flap button down in this case. You're going to have to hit it in a kind of rhythmic time kind of motion. And this is the key to Flappy Bird, right? Is just getting the right rhythm going. So again, feel free to adjust this vertical speed if you think the flapping doesn't quite feel right. But yeah, so there's no need for a timer or anything like that because you're the one who's going to be controlling the speed. That you can't spam the button. So we use a timer usually for shooting games to stop us from shooting super quickly. But of course, we don't have to do that here, as I said, because we already know that we don't want to flap too quickly, and you're going to limit yourself, or you're just going to die in the game very, very. Okay, so let's do that tilty thing I was talking about. We're going to go back and do a new stream of the program because we don't want the timing issues here because of the delay. We don't want them to delay stuff in the main part of the program. So let's again do a go to our events and grab a when I receive game start. And we'll put a forever in there. We're going to start checking to see again if that space key is. I'm going to go if space key is pressed. So theoretically, you could have put this into the same block as the other section of the program. It's only because of that delay that I don't want to do that. Anytime you introduce a delay into your code, we're going to go if key space is pressed. Anytime you introduce a delay into your code, it slows down the whole thing on purpose, and we don't want that to happen. All right, so we're going to tell it when I press the space key, we're going to tilt up a little bit. We're going to point in direction, and that number we're going to put in as 60. Just go up 2 notches on the little slidey wheel here, and that'll get you there. And here's where our wait is. We're just going to wait 0.5 seconds here. Oh no, I guess Peter's not on today to catch me. If else here. I didn't my code properly. So let's pop all this stuff into the if, remove the if statement, pop in the if else. This is my favorite mistake to make. I make it almost every week, guys. All right, point in direction. Let's go point in direction. So if we're not pointing up, we're probably going to be pointing down. So even if we're not flapping, of course, we're going to start falling down. So this will put us down in that downward direction when we're not flapping. Let's give it a try here and see how it does. So you can see that I'm flapping upwards, and then as soon as I start to fall, I tilt downwards. And it's just going to keep cycling between those 2 directions. Beautiful. Now, you guys probably know that Flappy doesn't move forward in this game, right? Because it's a side-scrolling shooter, the pipes will come to us. We're not going to come to the pipes. We can't actually move left, right at all in this game. We're just going to be scrolling up and down to avoid these pipes as they come at us. Okay, so we're going to get to coding those pipes in just a couple of minutes. Let's go take a little break right now and talk to our audience on the live stream, though. How's everyone doing here? I think we got our audio issues sorted out. I'm sorry, I was trying something different today with the Discord server, and it looks like the sound is properly. So I'll try doing a different. Try streaming something different here on the live stream, guys. I was trying to screen. Well, I don't have to explain. But anyway, I'm going to go back to my coding. Go live with that. Okay. Hopefully that should go better for you guys. I think that should enable. Not sure though. Let me try just doing a sound effect. Can you guys on Discord hear the audio now?
Oh.
No. Okay, so nothing I do here. All right, I've always had a lot of trouble with that. Let me try one more. Flappy. Go to oh. And no, I don't think that's going to help. Okay, so once again, I don't think there's much I can do right now to get the audio working properly. I'm going to have a look at that. I have some new ideas, and I'm going to try something different next week, guys. Okay, so I wanted to once again introduce you to our 2 newest members of the Chromeworks Club here, and that is Balin and his big brother Thane, who've been really, really great users. I think Balin's on the line with us right now, or sorry, Thane's on the line with us right now, isn't he? Thane, can you say hello to our group?
Hi.
Hi. Thane, tell us a little bit about yourself. Thane? Tell us a little bit of, yeah, go ahead.
My name is Thane. I am 10 years old. I live in Plantation, Florida, and I like doing.
Keep going. Sorry.
I like doing perler beads, and I like coding, and I'm very hyper.
Yeah, it seems like it. So, so Thane's brother Balin is also a member. You want to say hi, Balin?
Hi, my name is Balin, and I joined in a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you guys have. Sorry, keep going. Sorry, I'll let you finish talking. Anything else you want to say?
5 projects so far. I really love video games.
Yeah, so Balin and Thane have been going crazy doing scratch projects from us. Balin, as I said, has done 5 projects before, and I will tell you in a little bit how many projects Thane has done, but I'm really, really impressed with him. Let me show you guys some of the work that these guys have been doing. So, Balin, here's your zombie shooter game.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go over to it right now, dude.
Oh, I see it.
All right. So here is one of Balin's games that he put into the remix room for us. And it's called Zombie Shooter. It's a brand new game that he made himself. Balin, did you use the My Robot Hunter code to do this, or did you just do this from... Pardon me? So there's no sound effects, but
I've done this before. There's a YouTube channel and I've done this before, and I basically copied him, but I only checked a few things because I remembered everything that.
Okay, so this was another YouTube tutorial that you watched. I like that the guys have hit points. That's pretty cool. I would have preferred if there was some sound effects in there, though, because there's no sounds here at all. Ooh, and
He doesn't have any sound on his computer.
Oh, okay. All right. So that kind of limits your options there, eh? Okay. Anyway, that's a really cool game. Lovely. And I wanted to show some of the projects that Thane had been working on as well. Thane has remixed a whole bunch of the games, and I don't want to show them to you because they're not too different from the main versions, but I'd like to show you his brand new projects. Thane has done a beautiful little project here called that's for a robot dance party, and he added a neat new bit. So let me play this one for you guys. It's a little robot dance routine. He's got 2 robots dancing, and there's a funny little twist in it in just a second. Uh-oh, a bomb! Aw, poor robots. Okay, nice work, buddy. And one last project I wanted to show you that I thought was really cool. And here's an example of digital storytelling. Thane has actually written a little digital introduction to himself. I would love it if more of you guys did one of these kind of little profiles of yourself. Let me click the green flag and you'll hear what's happening. You guys on Discord who can't hear, you're going to want to jump over to YouTube and hear the audio here, because this doesn't really work without the audio.
Hi, my name is Thane. You might know me as Retro Gamer. I make drawing videos. So far, I've made Kirby. I also do a class with Mr. Tomek. He does coding.
That's me.
Wait, who is that? We can be friends. I did things. Catch you later. Bye.
Nice. So this is not a difficult kind of project to do, right? Let's have a look at his code really quickly. Nice work, Thane. So
That's all you need.
Yeah, this is all the code you need to make this. So we just recorded his voice and then just drew a whole bunch of costumes, right? One of them for the YouTube or whatever. And you can just cycle through costumes. So it's not a complicated coding project. If anyone of you guys out there wants to do a little introduction to yourself, I guarantee you I will show it on the air, because I love highlighting you guys' work, and this kind of stuff that's biographical. It's exactly the kind of stuff I'm trying to teach my students in school too, right? How to use Scratch as a tool to talk about yourself and to say the things that you learned and the things that you know and the things that you're interested in. So wonderful tool for self-expression, and it doesn't take a lot of coding, right? So I'm going to invite all you guys, if anyone wants to do this, just save it in the Scratch Studio, in a Scratch Studio for me, or email me the link, and I will be happy to show this stuff online. All right, so because Thane and Balin have been working so hard, I'm very happy to announce that they both have earned promotions in the Chromeworks Club. You guys who attended my graduation ceremony a few weeks ago will remember that there was that we set up this club system with points, and the more projects and remixes you do for me, the higher your points go. Let me show you guys. Alt F5. Let me go back to this again. Let me just go. So here's my level up chart here. Every time you do a remix for me, you get 1 point, and on your 5th, so everyone starts off basically after your first project, you become a techie, and then as your projects go up, you get promotion to Blockmaster, Game Guru, Code Wizard, Elite Hacker, and we don't even know what the next level is going to be because no one's ever gotten there yet. So every project that you do for me, now if you're going to do a remix for me, I'm going to ask you to at least, it can't just be the game that I made on Scratch, right? You have to do some kind of a remix, which means change the graphics, change the sound effects, change the rules, change something else about the game, just to show me that you know enough about coding to not just make a copy of my game, okay? So anyway, so let's show you how, so the only updates I have are Thane and Balin. If you have done a new project though, feel free to email me at info@chromeworks.ca. Just put member update in the subject line and tell me what you've done. Maybe send me a link to, or at least tell me the name of the project and where I can find it. And if you've done a legit remix, I will give you the points for it, and then you can start to rank up. I'm still working on a system to give every member of our club, their own web page where you're going to have your badges and your points and everything else all listed, and maybe a little bit of bio information to share with the world. That's still coming sometime in August, I would imagine. It's taking a bit of time to do because I'm very busy. Okay, so let's look at our update. How's everyone doing here? Balin, so he's finished 5 projects. This is his Scratch name in case you're looking for it. And so he has attained the rank of Blockmaster. Congratulations, buddy. All right. And Thane, amazing work, buddy. Thane has been coding like crazy. He has done 15 projects, and he is now a code wizard. I think we only have 2 or 3 code wizards right now, so really, really impressive work, buddy. I see a little bit more discussion here in... okay, so Deck has a asteroid remix. I'm going to show that during the next break, though, because I think we want to get back. Okay, so let's get back to it.
My brother has to leave.
Okay, Balin, we'll see you later, buddy. Okay, so we're going to start coding our pipes now, everybody. Let's get over to our pipes, and we can start our thing. So the top pipe, the first one that we're coding in here. Get over to here. Mouse is slowed down. So better. Button on my mouse to turn it down. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spawn a clone of this top pipe on the right hand side of the screen. We're going to slowly start moving it across the screen. And when it gets to the end, it's going to delete itself. And if it touches Flappy, as it inevitably will along the way, we're going to have him crash into it and crash and burn, die, right? Okay. So let's start with a when I receive start game. We'll go to our control blocks. Oh no, our event block. Sorry. When I receive start game. But let me magnify here. Saved recently. That one more time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is hide, because we're making copies of our pipe, of course. We're going to want to hide the original and only show the clones. Okay, so here's where we start creating clones. We'll put a forever in here. We'll create a clone of myself. That's down at the bottom of control. And now we're going to, there's a variable called top pipe, which is going to tell us what the Y position is of the top pipe, how high up or low or down on the screen. We're going to make it random. Rather than having to program the height of each pipe as they go up and down, we're just going to make it random so that everyone comes in looking a little bit different. For our variables, we're going to go set top pipe to, I want to do a random number, as I said here. So we might want to play with these numbers later, but so we're going to go to our operators and go pick random number and pop it into that hole. And so this is going to be the Y value of the top pipe. So the numbers I'm putting in right now are going to be between 10 and 120, I think will work nicely. And so what that means is the top pipe, let me show you the sprite here. The center of the sprite is the bottom of the pipe. So wherever I set the Y location is going to be that far down on the screen. So for example, let me actually just show the pipe here so I can show that to you. Here's my pipe. Where I'm going to go set Y here. So if my Y is 10, if I get the minimum number out of these random numbers, it's going to be that's going to be the maximum number. So that's as far down as the pipe can go. And this is as far up as the pipe can go, which is 120. And you see right up to there. Any less than that, and you're going to start to, it's not going to look like a pipe anymore. So 160 or something, that no longer looks very much like a pipe. If you want to, you can go all the way up to probably 170 or so with this. And that will bring the pipe way up to the top of the screen. So that's basically where we're going with that. And while we're in here, we're also going to set up where the bottom pipe goes. So let's go to our variables. We'll go set bottom pipe. Now we want the bottom pipe to be positioned relative to the first. We don't, if we roll a tricky random number and we have the top pipe going right to the top of the screen and the bottom pipe going... Yes?
Isn't that supposed to be setting top pipe, not high score?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. Thank you very much. I just forgot to change. Good catch, buddy. All right, so set top pipe to a random number and set bottom pipe to, so we're going to do it relative to top pipe. We don't want the top pipe being way at the top here and the bottom pipe being at the bottom. So if this is down low, we want this one down low, and if this is up high, we want this one up quite a bit higher as well. So we're going to basically go and set it to where the top pipe is minus a random number, and that'll give us some different here. So so we need, it's a little bit complicated here. So we need to go to our operators, and here we're going to grab a minus sign. And then inside there on the right, we're going to put a plus sign, because it's going to be top pipe minus two different things, a random number plus an offset number. Okay. So let's go pop the top pipe into there. I'm going to go to my variables, pop in the bubble for top pipe. So it's going to be top pipe minus 80. And then in here, so 80 is basically 80 plus another number, which is 10 or something in here. So 90 is the minimum distance between the two pipes, 90 pixels. And the maximum distance can be quite a bit more than that. So let's pop in a random number here. We'll go random. So I'm going to say between 10 and let's try 100 or so here. Put 120 in my code, but that I thought that was a little wide. Okay, so now when we click the flag, well, no, actually nothing's going to happen yet when we click the flag. And we want this happening every 3 seconds. Let's put a delay in here, wait 3 seconds, and then it's going to go and make more pipes. So the pipes are going to come at you every 3 seconds. Okay, so we're not going to see a lot right now, especially because we haven't shown yet. Let's do a when I start as a clone, and then we'll do show. Save my file for you guys at home. So now when I click the green flag, you'll see that my first, I haven't set an XY coordinate for these guys yet. Actually, that comes next in the code, but we're not going to see these guys yet because we haven't set an X coordinate for it. So let's, underneath the show here, let's set X to 240, which is the right-hand side of the screen. There we go. And we're going to set the Y, which is its height, that variable top pipe. That was just jumped the gun a little bit there with that top pipe. Now there should be something to see over on the right-hand side of the screen. You should see your first pipe appear. And then after a couple of seconds, another one will appear. You can see on top of it, it's a little bit off. This one's down a little bit. We're not getting very much variation here. Okay, this one's a little further down. And yeah, they seem to be coming in a very tight cluster here. Oh, there's one a little bit higher. And so you can see we're getting random numbers here. So the next thing we're going to have to do is start this guy scrolling across the screen as they're made. Let's go add a forever there. And we're going to change our x value, which of course is going to move us across the screen. We're moving to the left, so that's going to be a negative number. Let's change our x by -2, and that'll get us scrolling across the screen. Let's try that out. Green flag. Oh, set y to top type. Oh, not set x to -2. That was a rookie mistake, dudes. Who can tell me why that happened? Anyone on Discord? What? So I was telling it. I was telling it to go to set to -2x, which is telling it to go to the screen. I don't want to do that. I just want to change it. I want to say go over to where you are before. I'm going to use change x by -2. There we go. Now our guys are sliding properly. Click the green flag and let's see these guys go. Beautiful. Our pipes are going across the screen exactly the way we want them to. Nice. Okay. So if we, as I said, if we wanted something more extreme, we can change those numbers around a little bit. We can't see the bottom pipe yet because we haven't started coding it yet, but we'll get to that in just a second. The only other code we have in this top pipe, and we might as well get it done right now, even though it doesn't apply yet, is we have a game over event here. We just need to tell it to stop moving the pipes if we die here. So I'm going to just add a new event. It's called when I receive a game over. So new event, game over. What we want to have happen when the game over event happens is we don't want to end the game quite yet because we want time for Flappy Bird to crash to the ground before we end the game. But we do want to stop those pipes from moving. I'm going to grab a block from the bottom of my control blocks. I'll stop all, pop it in there, but I'm going to change to say stop other scripts in the sprite. So when that gets invoked, when the game is over, this loop here of moving pipes will come to an end. Your pipes will stop moving, and it will stop spawning new ones as well. So all these other scripts will be defunct at that point. Okay, let me save my file. And before we take our next break, we might as well get the bottom pipe done. It's very close to the top one. So let's go to bottom pipe. And we're going to go when I receive start game. Magnify it a little bit. I've got a new person here on YouTube whose name is Fatty FN. He's saying, "You're my teacher." I'm gonna need you to tell me what you mean by "you're my teacher." I think I'm everybody's teacher right now, dude. Do you mean that I'm your teacher in a classroom somewhere, or are you taking one of my online classes? Let me know, Fatty FN. I hate saying that, but it's your name, dude. I didn't mean to call you names or anything like that. It's just the name you called yourself. Okay, back to the coding here, guys. Let's go when I receive start game. For game start, we're going to hide this fella. Same thing we did with our other pipe. And we're going to create clone of ourselves every 3 seconds. Same way we did before. So create a clone of myself. This is all control blocks here. Wait a second. All right, but the directions when I start as a clone are a little bit different here for this guy because he's going to be, well, not too different. Oh, and we missed a little bit of code on both these guys. I forgot to code them deleting themselves. Top pipe, as you can see, is actually going right to the end of the screen, and they're just getting stuck there, right? So we have to tell it when it hits that wall to delete itself. We're doing that in a second. Do it for the bottom pipe, and then we'll go back and copy that code over to the hold on, have a look at the top code here. Yeah, you know what? The code between the top and bottom is almost identical. So if you indulge me a second, guys, let's go back to the top pipe and doing that, and then we just copy all that code over to the bottom guy. So the difference I'm going to make here is when my x position gets to the left side of the screen, which is an x of -240, then we're going to delete that clone, and that's all we have to do. So if we need a less than sign here, which is the little arrow pointing to the left, remember that's a less than sign. So if our x position, now there's a bubble for x position, it's in motion though, towards the bottom, there's a couple of little position is less than -240, you've gone off the screen, then let's delete that clone. So let's go to our control blocks and grab a delete clone. All right, so we're gonna more or less copy this entire block, this when I started the clone block, over to the bottom pipe. So if you'll recall, guys, we can do that just by dragging the block over to bottom pipe. So let me zoom in a bit here to make it easier for you guys to see. Remember, I'm gonna drag it over so that my mouse cursor is touching the bottom pipe. As soon as I do that, the bottom pipe wiggles a little bit to tell you that you're in the right place. So don't just try to place the thing on top like this so that the block is on top. That won't work. It has to be your mouse cursor pointing at the object, and it has to wiggle. Let go. If you did that successfully, we can go back to our bottom pipe, and you'll see that our when I started the clone is all good there. So I'm going to delete this in here. I'm going to change this top pipe to bottom pipe. And let's have a look. Sorry, that bottom pipe goes into set Y. Yes?
You can just right click the bottom pipe. You could have just.
Sorry, what was that, buddy? Try it again.
You could have just it clicked the top pipe bubble, and it would have, and then bunch of.
Oh, you mean I could have made a copy of the top pipe bubble? Of the top pipe? I'm not sure.
Oh, you could change it to a bottom pipe. If you right click,
Right click on the top pipe, like on the sprite here.
So, like if you did that, like go to top pipe.
Yeah.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Click.
And then right click on it here to duplicate it, and that would have copied all the code over, right? Sometimes we do that, but the problem with that is that's going to mess up our graphics. I took a lot of time getting this.
That's not what I meant.
Okay, so tell me what you did mean. I know you can you can right click on any block of sprite and duplicate it, but we want to duplicate it over to another character. There's no copy button or anything here, so really the way to get stuff over is by dragging and dropping it.
You could just like it to the bottom.
I'm just not sure what you're saying here.
Pipe, and then.
Yeah. Thane, again, we're having trouble with your microphone, buddy. I'm not sure what's going on. Like your
it's
voice.
Probably because my microphone is at the bottom, not.
Okay.
Let me just right click that bottom pipe.
Right click on. Sorry, on what? You have to tell me what to right click on. I don't understand. When I started the clone or whatever, and then right click and go duplicate. No.
Click the bottom pipe bubble. Y to.
Sorry, I understand what you mean here. So what Thane was telling us is instead of dragging one in and replacing it with another, you could just have right clicked on it and changed it from here. So here's a list of all the variables in the game.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, sorry, Thane. I would have a hard time getting you. That's something I don't do very often, and that's actually a really good tip, buddy. So often when you. Yeah, when you right click on sprites, often you'll get some other choices, particularly variable. It'll give you some extra choices. I think some of the other blocks will give you choices as well, and I can't remember which other ones do, but that's really handy for sure. So thanks for that little bit of advice, buddy. Sorry I didn't understand you. Okay, so I think everything's ready to go here. So let's give it another try. We'll go save now, and we'll click the flag, and hopefully pipes. Now, I'm just not going to bother flapping here. Yeah, and our pipes are coming in at different heights here. Beautiful. We got a little bit of a maze to go now. Now, if you feel like those gaps are too wide, here's how you can change the code. We can go to our back to our top pipe code. And here is the code for the distance between your pipes, right? So it's 80 plus 10, which means the minimum distance is 90. That looks like about 90. Yeah, I don't think we'd want it any narrower than that. If you did theoretically want it narrower, you could pick a smaller number here. Or if you find that's a little too tight for you to go through, you could go with a bigger number here. Now, the distance between these pipes gets pretty wide here. And if you want to make the game harder, another thing you can do is make this the maximum number here a little bit less. So if I turn this to like 50, for example, see what that looks. Then I will end up getting a lot more narrow pipes and fewer of the wide ones, right? So that just it limits the ability to make pipes really, really wide. But I think that might be a little bit too tricky. So I'm going to stick with 100 here, my original plan. And so there's going to be some easy pipes and some difficult. Okay, so we can start our collision events at some point. But first I want to take a little bit of a break and talk to my audience on the live stream.
Mr. Tomek,
Yes.
Valen says he won't go live streaming anymore. He'll be doing the recorded courses here.
Okay, if he's not into it, that's all cool. No problems
But
at all.
no, he's into it. It's just that his sound isn't working. It's really hard for him.
Yeah, it would be frustrating. Well, I'm glad that Balin got a chance to get online and talk to us anyway. And that's fine. Oh, I got Avi on here.
I'll let him talk like if he wants to talk.
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, if he just wants to watch the show and not participate, or if he just wants to do it later, that's all cool. Okay, so I promised you I'd show you Deck's asteroid game, and I thought I'd get to that right now. Sorry, did someone else want to say something first? No, I don't think so. Okay, so let's get back to our screen here. So Deck's file is, I believe, oh, there it is. So Deck has made a nice little remix of asteroids. You can see he's added some custom text to it as well. And he added some twists to the gameplay. The main one, which really confused me at first, was when you start playing the game, as soon as you try to shoot... Hold it, what? Oh, there it goes. It kills itself. So you die as soon as you try to shoot. I had to go back and read the instructions to figure out how this works. You can shoot with a shield on. So it's the letter E to activate your shield. And so it's only when your shields are working that you're allowed to shoot, which makes the game super hard, I have to say, because you know that if you overuse your shield, your it will burn itself out. Whoa! And I forgot to do it there. So it takes a bit of practice to get used to playing Deck's version of this. Try that again here. Oh. And I'll turn my shield off. And I gotta wait for it to recharge before I can shoot again. Oh, alright. I have not been able to survive more than 5 or 10 seconds playing this game, Deck. I don't know what kind of high score you've gotten on, but this is just way too hard for me, dude. Anyway, but a nice little idea for a remix. So this is what I mean by a remix, right? Don't just take my game that I made, that you made on YouTube, and then save it to the list, right? I want you to do something to change the rules around, change the graphics around, change the sound effects, something that will make it into your own project, right? And so that's what I'm hoping you guys will be.
Mr. Tomek?
Yes, sir?
I made like a game like a long time ago. Sort of like a game where you try to eat, like you're a monster and you just follow your mouse and...
Yeah, I was looking around at that, buddy, and I'd be happy to show it in the remix. Emin, that's not cool, dude. Okay, that was... We had a little... we had... my dear friend Emin has just come in the chat and said some nonsense just for some reason. So Emin gets muted. Or actually, I'm gonna kick him for now. There you go, dude. That's what you get for interrupting my live stream. One more time, my friend, and it might not just be a temporary kick, just so you know, buddy. Okay, so where were we? Back to the code, I guess, eh? Does anyone else have anything else before I get back to it? Not much happening in the chat. All right.
Can you showcase my game?
No, oh, so I was in the middle of something before Emin introduced us. What I would like is for you to put some instructions for your game inside. Like, I tried playing it, and I don't have a clue what's happening. So what I would like you to do is...
just
Okay, so, dude, I'm going to show your game next week, but I'm just saying part of my instructions for how to remix a game or how to add a game to the thing is you've got to have some instructions. You've got to put in that effort to make sure people know how to play your game, that it's a complete game that works, right? If it's a game that's broken, I'm not going to show it. If it's a game that I don't know how to play, I'm not going to show it as well. So go ahead and update that, and I will show it next week, sir. All right. And Deck has just had one more point. He says if you touch the edge of the screen, something else happens. So let me just go over and do that right now and see what he's talking about. And that automatically ends the game. Is that what you're saying? So that's another way that he's made the game really hard, right? By making the game over as soon as you touch the edge. Wow, that is a brutally hard game. I don't know what to say, dude. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm gonna be able to play that one. It's just too hard. Okay, let's get back to the coding, guys. All right, back to tab 1 here. Okay, so we got our pipes working. We got Flappy working nicely. Let's get the collision event where he actually dies in here. We'll have to do a few different things with that. So we're going to go over to our Flappy Bird again. And inside the main block of code, which is the when game starts here, we're going to add a second if statement here to make the guy die when he touches a pipe. So let's add an if statement. And we need an or here, because we're going to say if we're touching the top pipe or the bottom pipe. Let me save my game. All right, let's go or. So we're going to say if I'm touching top pipe or touching bottom pipe. We're going to go to our sensing commands to see if we're touching anything. So touching top pipe or touching bottom pipe. So touching top pipe or touching bottom pipe. We're going to do a couple of things. The first thing we can do is start a sound effect here. Let's go to our sounds. We're going to play that whack sound. That. And then we're going to set a variable called dead to a 1. And then, of course, we'll tell the rest of the code that we're dead. And we're also going to broadcast a game over. So you can see that we've done 2 different ways to tell what happens. The first is we're setting dead, and we're also doing that broadcast of game over. You might be wondering why I have 2 different things to tell the game that it's dead. It's because it's actually 2 different timing to the 2 different things. So when we die, we need stuff to happen immediately. But when we do a game over, we might want to wait a second before stuff starts happening. And so to adjust that timing a little more carefully, I've set up 2 different mechanisms here for telling that the game is over. And we're going to use them both in a slightly different way. So let me go broadcast game over. And that's great. So we're good with that. All right. So the other thing I want to do here is when I do get that game over message, I'm going to stop all of these scripts here so that my guy doesn't hold it. Oh no, that's not. I don't think that's actually right. Yeah, sorry. So when I receive game over, we don't want this guy to stop because he's going to fall down off the screen. So the one thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to point him down so that he's suddenly facing down on the screen and then he starts falling. I see someone typing in here in what appears to be, looks like it might be Russian or some other language. Otwaj pujum lupi ne pujum dupa klopa. So, if anyone has any language expertise, you can tell me what that means. I'm not quite sure what that's up. Okay, so that's Emin again, and I thought oh, so he's back in the text, eh? Right. So I'm going to put Emin in timeout. Emin, you are not in my good books today, buddy. I had a chat with you about being responsible on here. You're a lot older than the other kids, and I need you to stop memeing on my server, dude. And if you want to get kicked kicked out of my broadcast, this is a really good way to do it. Okay, so where were we? When I receive game over, we just want our guy pointing downwards. Let's go to our motion blocks, tell him point in direction 180 so that he will fall face first into the ground. Excellent. Now, we don't actually have to code him falling into the ground. All we have to do is make sure that he can't move up anymore. Gravity will do the work of bringing him down to the ground. So how are we going to stop this guy from moving up again when you flap? We've got some code over here that says if key space is pressed, and we don't want to keep flapping here for a couple of seconds until we die. We're going to be able to keep flapping though, right? So we're going to stop that by saying I'm allowed to fly if my key is pressed and I'm not dead. If I'm dead, we're going to disable this. So what I need to do is pop this key space out of the if statement here and put an and in there. I'm going to go if pressed, of key space pressed, and I'm dead, which is dead is equal to 0. I'll grab a dead block here. Unvariable. If dead is equal to 0, if I've died, then what's going to happen is, so if dead is 0, if I'm not dead, then we're allowed to flap. If I am dead, if dead is equal to 1, it's going to look at this if statement and say that's not true, and it's going to ignore this, which means no matter how hard you flap your little space key, nothing's going to happen. Okay, let's give this a try here and see if it's working properly. So stop, flag. Now I'm flying. I can fly through my pipes. And I will, there we go. And I hit one and fell to the ground. Now my game's not ending properly. We're going to be doing that in a second. I'm just sitting around. Yeah, I can't fly anymore because my dead is equal to 1 now. But you can see I'm kind of stuck at the bottom of the screen. And the bottom pipes didn't stop moving because they don't have the proper code to stop when they get hit. So I'm going to grab that when I receive game over, stop other scripts in the sprite that's in the top pipe. I'll just drag it over the bottom pipe too. So now, when I hit a pipe, there we go. And now all the pipes have stopped moving. Beautiful. Okay, so things are looking pretty up here now. Let's, yeah, I'll do that right now, buddy. Save now, there we go. All right, so when I get whacked, the other thing I wanted to do is make the screen glow red, and that's why I just drew this red screen, and just all I did was I went into bitmap mode, and I just used a paint bucket, and I just filled it up with red like that. And so you can see that when it's not hidden anymore, it just flashes and covers the whole screen up. And then when I turn it off, so we're just going to have it flash really quickly on the screen and then fade away when I get hit. And that will give us a little bit more feedback. When you're making games, it's really good to make sure that the player isn't guessing about what happened. We don't want the player to say, what was that? Did I die? Did I hit the thing? And so giving something really obvious like that really helps the player understand that an action happened, like that you've died, right? So those little bits of visual feedback are a really, really nice little addition to any game. And that's the kind of stuff that separates really pro-looking games from kind of amateur kid games, right? So if you guys are interested in taking your coding to the next level, you got to start paying attention to these details, guys. All right, so let's start with the green flag clicked. All we're going to do is center this guy here. So let's go to our motion blocks. We'll tell it to go to 0, 0. Or center of the screen, and we're going to hide him here as well. So let's go to our looks menu and we're going to hide. In addition to hiding him though, we're going to use our ghost effect. So I'm going to set my ghost effect to 0. So here it is under set color effect, under looks at the purple block here that says set color effect to 0. I'm going to change that to say ghost effect. Now, if you guys remember, ghost effect is the thing that makes stuff transparent. You can use that to fade in and fade out. Let me just give you a quick demo. So if I set my ghost effect to 50%, see that the screen turns transparent. The lower the number, the more transparent it gets. So we're going to set it to 0, which will make it kind of double invisible because it's going to be not only hidden, but oh, actually, that's going to be the opposite. That's going to be completely visible, right? So 100 is completely visible and 0 is completely visible. So we're going to start with the thing visible, and then we're going to fade it away. Okay, so that all happens inside the game over event. Let's go to our control blocks. We'll grab a when I receive game over. And we're going to do a show in here, of course, to make it visible. And then we're going to very quickly fade it away. So we're going to grab a repeat block under our control and go repeat 10 times. And each time we're going to take our ghost effect down by 10. So it's going to go, or we're going to make it go up by 10, sorry. So we'll go to our looks menu. We'll go change, not color effect, but ghost effect by 10 each time. And so by the time it's done this loop, it'll be at 100, which will make it totally invisible, or totally, totally invisible, right? And then we're going to hide it just to be sure here. One of the reasons I like to hide it is so that when your game is over, it doesn't appear again. When we set ghost effects and then we stop the game, often things that have been made invisible or things that have color effects applied to them, it all just nukes that and goes back to the default, which would mean that after the game's over, we've got this big red on our screen. That's why I want to keep it hidden right now. Okay, let me save my file. And let's max the screen out here and try playing our game again. So made it through the first pipe. Oh, no, I didn't. I crashed. And you saw that little red flash. Let's try that one more time for those of you who missed it. I'm gonna try and make it through my first pipe this time. There we go. Smash into the pipe, and then I fall. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, we're getting pretty close on this, eh? It's not looking too bad at all. I don't think there's any need to take a break. I don't have anything else to show, so let's just blast through this. I think we're going to get done before 11:30 today, guys. That's pretty impressive. So there's a couple more things we have to do to finish our game. The basic play mechanic is done. We don't have the score being kept right now. The score being kept in this game is very passive. All it is basically like a timer. Every second we're going to add 1 to our distance. We'll do that inside the Flappy script. So let's just go back to our Flappy Bird. We'll tell him when green flag clicked forever. Change distance variable by 1. So our variable will change distance by 1, and then we'll wait 1 second. So basically it's just going to be a timer telling us how many seconds we've been alive in the game. Now, we're going to want to update that later. I think I do it later on in the code so that whatever the score I got there, that 8, for example, will move over to the high score so that when I play again the next round, it'll remember and I'll know what I have to beat in rounds. Okay, so that is actually the last of the code we need for the bird. So we just have 2 more elements to code. Number 1 is going to be the game text, which is going to be those game over and the get ready screens. And then we want the bottom of the screen, this block here, scroll as we're playing as well. So we're going to be using that same scrolling trick that we used in last week in our Scramble game, and that we also used in our Robot Hunter game, though that one was a little bit more complicated, right? Okay, actually, let's do the ground right now because that's an obvious thing, and then we'll just then we can just finish up with the text part. Okay, so let's go green flag, and we'll just hide at the beginning. Hide. Because again, at the beginning of the game, we don't want to see this stuff, and then it's going to all appear later. Okay, when I receive start game, is an event. Now, you guys remember this from last week if you were watching. We're going to do 2 different versions of this bottom one and they're going to be overlapped in such a way that as one of them moves across the screen, it's going to be replaced by the other one, right? So as we move across the screen, this one's going to be right off, but this one's going to come across to replace it. So that at any given time, there's always going to be something across the screen. This is the way we code stuff in Scratch, because Scratch doesn't really know how to take stuff off the screen the way that you can. In most coding languages, you can move stuff right off the screen, tell it go to X of 1000 or whatever, and then come back again. But if you want stuff to repeat itself and not have gaps, we're going to have to code it this. Okay, so where was I? Ground. So let's tell the ground to go to the middle. When I receive start game, we'll tell it to go to 0, 0. Go to XY of 0, 0. We're going to tell it to show. First, because we're ground. We're going to tell it to go to the back of the screen. So let's say go to back layer, which is also in our looks menu. And that will get it out of the way of the rest of our characters and sprites. And here's where we're going to start moving it. So let's go control forever. And we're going to tell it to move the same speed as our pipes, which is -2. So let's go move -2 steps. Now you know that we could go change X by -2 as well here, right? So it's really a choice. There are times when you want to move instead of changing your X. For example, if you got a character that's rotating or spinning, if I rotate my character like that, I can't tell him to change his X because he's going to move across the screen like that, when in fact we want him moving up the screen, right? So that's the kind of times when you want to use move. Otherwise, you can usually use X. It really doesn't matter if you're moving horizontally, so it's your choice. So I'll go move -2 steps. Now, the only other thing we want to do is after it moves and gets to the middle of it, gets to the edge of the screen, which is -240, we're going to pop it back to its start location and get it started again. So let's go if X position is equal to -240. So let's go equal sign. And we need an X position from our motion blocks. If X position is equal to -240, which means it's reached the edge of the screen, we're going to bring it back to the middle of the screen again, which is set X to 0. Let's go to our motion blocks, and we'll go set X 0. All right, that part's good. Let's have a look at what that looks like now. Whoa. Oh, I messed up my game here. On here, let's try that one more time. So you can see my bottom is coming across the screen quite nicely. We can let it keep running here, but the problem is that when it reaches the edge and goes back, there's always that little gap there. That's why the right-hand part of the screen is going to be a clone of this guy that's going to cover up that seam or that gap. Dex asking when the lesson will be over. I'm thinking another 10 minutes or so, probably. Not too long, buddy. Not too long at all. Okay, so we need to get that clone in there. Let's go and inside the code here, before we get into the forever loop, let's go create a clone of myself. And then we'll tell the clone what to do. When I start as a clone, now we want to set the X to a different location. We're going to tell him to go to the right-hand side of the screen and start sliding across from there. So we're going to tell it to set X to 140, which is the right-hand side of the screen. Now, we want to do exactly the same thing in our forever loop for this guy that we did for the other guy. So I'm going to move my cursor over the forever loop. And I'm going to right-click and duplicate it because I need exactly the same code here for the other guy. The only difference is the X position 0. When it reaches the middle of the screen, we're going to have it pop back to 240, which is back to the right-hand side of the screen again. So this will, basically you can use 2 tiles that are the width of the screen and have them tile constantly, just using this kind of script. So save this in your backpack, guys. This is a really handy 2 blocks of code here that will 100% get almost anything scrolling if you want any kind of a scooter game. So there we go. It looks like our scrolling is working beautifully here. Let me try to get through this pipe. Sound effect. Anyway, you can see that my scrolling's working. I'm not even going to bother playing here. I just want to let it keep rolling. So you see the bottom is scrolling quite nicely now. Going forever, and you can't tell that it's 2 different things. Let me save my file. All right, beautiful. Okay, so we are done the ground. So just one last little bit left, which is the ground text. So let's, or sorry, the screen text. So let's go over there, and then we'll be done, guys. So when I click on a green flag for the text, so remember we've got two different costumes. We've got one called Game Over, one called Get Ready. So of course we want the Get Ready to kind of flash on the screen, get started our game, and we want it to disappear, and we want to get into our game. We've got three different backgrounds here as well. One called light blue, one called dark blue, and we're just going to switch between these ones when we want to get between levels. Okay, so let's go when green flag clicked up for you guys. Let's go to the middle. Oh, sorry, I'm on the backdrop now and I shouldn't be. Go back to our screen. There we go. When green flag clicked, we're going to go to the middle of the screen, 0, 0. We're going to show under our looks menu. Let's go. We're going to switch our costume now to the one that's called the Get Ready. And then we're just going to flash it a couple of times before the game starts. So let's go repeat 3 times. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our looks menu. We'll go show, and then we'll wait just half a second, 0.5. Then we'll show again, or then we'll hide, sorry, for another half a second. And because we're flashing through this 3 times, it'll basically go get ready, hide, get ready, hide, get ready, hide. And then after that, we can start our game. So, ooh, I think I ever set the background to the proper background here. Let's tell it when I get the green flag, let's switch the backdrop to dark blue. Dark blue one went here. And then all right, so after we flash through this, we're going to switch our backdrop back to the city backdrop, or switch backdrop, sorry. And that's the main backdrop for our game, of course. And then we're going to broadcast our message telling us to start the game. So this is the actual part of the code that starts the game. Game start. And then we're going to hide. Let's go do a hide here. All right. And now we got to go back and fix our game because we set it to start right away at the beginning and we want it to wait for this to be over now. So let's go back to our Flappy. And right now we've got a game start happening right when we click the green flag. We don't need that anymore. So let's just trash that broadcast game start. And now our game's not actually going to start until that screen text flashes a couple of times. Let's give it a try. Let me save my file. Go green flag. There it is. It flashes. And then I appear. I wait 1 second. And there we go. I keep crashing every time here, guys. I think maybe the space between types might not be wide enough. So again, this is the pro tip I'm going to give you guys for adjusting the difficulty of this game. So if I want the pipes to be wider, I have to change this number in the top pipe. So let's change it to 100 and see if that makes the game a little playable. Because I don't think I've made it through these pipes even once yet. There we go, a little more room. Oh, that's why they call it a rage game, guys. Okay, so my score is, wow. We need to have a stop all event in here to stop that distance up. We're going to add in a second. So a little bit more code inside our game screen here. We need to do the game over event now. So let's go events. When I receive game over, we're going to switch our costume to game over. So let's go to our looks menu. We'll go switch costume, game over. And we want to go show here as well because our thing is probably hidden at this point. then we're going to update our high score. So let's add an if statement, and we need a greater than sign here. So what we're basically going to say is if our new score is higher than our high score, then change our high score to reflect that. So we need a couple of bubbles here. We're going to say if distance is greater than high score, then set high score to the distance, which is how far we managed to get this round. There we go. Now at the end, we're going to wait 2 seconds, which is going to give us enough time for our Flappy to fall. We don't want that to happen before, though, because we want to set that high score, because the game's going to keep running for that 2 seconds, and we don't want to score those points, right? And then at the end of that, we'll go to our control blocks and go stop all, and that will freeze our game back out again. Okay, so let's give it a try. I think, let me save my file here. Pretty much ready to go here. There's a glitch, says Deck. We'll check that out in a second. Let me just finish playtesting this. Okay, so Deck, if you can tell me what you think the glitch is, I'll be happy to look at it. I'm flying much more nicely through this now. Alright, I'm going to have to kill myself at some point just so I can test this out. Maybe I made the game too easy. There we go. And there we go. And then we fall. And then 2 seconds later, the game should end. And it's not ending. That. It was ending yesterday. It received a game over message. Okay, I am not liking this. So let's... It looks like a scratch glitch and not a me. Fall to the ground. Fall to the ground first, says Deck. I'm not quite sure what you're getting to, buddy. Just to fix this, I think this is a scratch problem. Sometimes when you tell it to stop the whole program, it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is grab another one of these blocks that says when I receive game over, stop other scripts in the sprite. I'm going to drag it to the ground, and hopefully that'll stop that move. So flap until I hit something. There we go, and the ground stopped now. Beautiful, and then the game stopped, and everything came over here. Fall to the ground. Okay, so Deck's saying, I found it, fall to the ground first, don't press. Oh, you're saying that we don't die. So if you fall to the ground and don't press any keys and just let yourself slide along the ground, is that what you're saying, Deck? Oh, it does not like that, eh? Well, it gave us a game over. There's some weird stuff going on here. Yeah, it didn't really like that very much. What I think we should do is probably add a little bit of code here that says if we're touching the bottom or the top edge of the that we should die. We can do that any place where we've got a forever statement where we're checking something. Let's do it inside the when I receive game start here. Add a little block of code that says if touching edge, then we're going to broadcast that game over message. And that should end the game as soon as we let ourselves fall off the screen. Right? There we go. That ended the game. I don't know why the sound effect didn't play. Oh, because the sound effect actually happens different spot in the code here. Let's just add it again here. Just fuck. Go to sounds and go start sound whack, and then broadcast game. Try that again. Touch the ground. The whack still did not work. There's some timing issues here with the sound effects, guys. I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. Anyone who wants to suggest a fix to that can, but I think we're going to call it a day here, guys. So, as I promised, it didn't take too long. We got through it done in literally half the time of yesterday, guys, which is really impressive. So, we are going to be back again next week with a totally different game. I haven't decided what it is. I'm going to talk to Jeffrey, who's back from vacation now, and he's going to be live coding with us. So, we're going to try something a little different next week. We're going to pick a project and we're going to make it live on the spot. I already, yeah, let me save my file here, guys. Make sure to remix this file, guys. So I have a remix room set up, and remember you can get to it just by going to my website and clicking on the remix challenge link. Either the remix room here for Flappy Bird. Just paste your URL into this spot here. Make sure your file is shared first. And again, make sure that you have actually remixed the file by changing it a little bit. Change the graphics around, create a new background, do something cool, and I will show it on my live stream next week. Yes? What's up?
Hey,
Sorry, I don't hear.
can't wait for next.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Nice to, so it'll be, looking forward to doing that again. In the meantime, stay tuned, get onto my mailing list or check my website. I'm going to have a new live streaming day camp starting in a week. We'll get some details for that. I'm also looking at maybe setting something up early in my morning so that some of our British fans who are 4 hours behind us will be able to log in the morning and do some live coding with us then as well. So I'm going to see how that works, and we're just going to keep experimenting until we find something that I like and you guys like. I'm just going to keep mixing it up. So it was really nice working with you guys again, and I can't wait to catch you guys later. I'm going to be on Discord for a few minutes if anyone wants to chat there. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the flip-flop.